Welcome everyone to the Moisky News for February 4th, 2020. Today I want to talk about a petition. I was going to talk about Rebecca Long-Bailey's behaviour, actions, policies and so on, hustings even, but I'll save that for tomorrow. I have actually written the notes. I wrote them all on Saturday and forgot to cover it yesterday. So instead we're going to talk about a petition that was linked to me, I believe, either on Facebook or Twitter, I can't remember, done by Margaret Georgiadou, requesting that we, the UK, rejoin the EU as soon as possible after 11 PM on the 31st of January 2020, which is the moment we left. I know this because I was streaming at that time. I believe I had Irate Alex on the channel briefly during that stream, and he very kindly did the hysteria for me while I played Rule Britannia, because Britain rules the waves. It's in the song. At time of recording, this petition has 19,901 signatures, and I feel it only right that we give it the proper attention it deserves, because petitions like this are going to crop up. I find it funny that people want to return immediately, ignoring the majority for those that lost. Granted, it was a close result, but there was a winner. And by close, I mean there were 1 million votes in it. Close. So, over half the country wishes to remain in the EU. Citation needed. In fact, I would have advised you include that in this petition to validate it. Because last I checked, because you're in England, no it didn't. Leaving the EU will cause too much of value to be lost. I see you've been reading those impact analyses that indicated we wouldn't be as wealthy as we could be if we remained. All of which also show that we will still be growing, just not growing as much. They're all very pessimistic. And they're based on a bunch of assumptions that we can't secure certain deals that we can in fact secure if we try. So leaving the EU will cause too much of value to be lost, and too little of practical value to be gained. You're right. Freedom is bad. Vote Cthulhu 2020, everyone. I'll prove this lady right. It also stands to break up the Union. No. Northern Ireland are busy getting on with it. Wales have gotten on with it. The SNP are desperately trying to push for independence, with some sources indicating that Scotland might be interested in independence, but it is unlikely, since it is still well known and established, and it has been spoken somewhat recently, Spain would still veto Scotland rejoining the EU on its own, and Scotland would suffer greatly if it left the Union because of what we give them. It's nice that they like to have the idea that they want to retake their powers, the SNP that is, all the power, all the control, unironically the entire point of Brexit which they stand against, only for them to give a lot of it up for that simpler life in the EU. Interesting. Leaving the EU is currently undemocratic. Is it? And there I was thinking it was fair. My mistake, it must have been the Russians. It ignores the current wishes of Northern Ireland, Wales and Scotland. No, it doesn't. Didn't Wales vote to leave? The answer to that, by the way, is yes, it did. The only country that had a monstrous majority to remain was Scotland, with 1.661 million people voting to remain to 1 million leave, the 62 to 38% split. Northern Ireland had it pretty close. In fact, it was almost as close as that as the English vote, with 46% voting to remain in England and 53% voting leave, which is actually something you somewhat ignore in your petition because you reference large swaths of England. You could have just said London, because that's where the bulk of the votes came from. To remain, that is. This petition is open to all British passport holders. Drats. I can't vote in it. What a shame. Regardless of origin, as well as all residents of the UK. Also, regardless of origin. Well, I'm a resident, I guess I get to vote. No, because you've already ignored one democratic vote. What makes me think for a second you're going to consider a second? There are some interesting comments underneath. The first one that I came across is, Brexit is a crime, it's fraud and perpetrated against the British people. It needs to properly and openly investigated, but in the meantime reversed. It needs to properly and openly investigate. It needs to be properly and openly investigated. Insert some additional commas in the word be, and you've got some grammar here. The rest of the comments do amuse me, and I would highly recommend reading them if you'd like some lols. Another one I like. We are out of the EU. We are staying out for good. Stop this stupid petition. Jeez. You're not helping with the idea that people who voted leave are uneducated, mate. Could you please edit your comment and remove the letter R from petition? No. Oh, no. Oh, this is precious. Okay, the last one I'm going to focus on for a second. Underneath the petition comment. What the hell? We voted and we won to leave, so shut up and get ready for a better future. We've always done better on our own, and we will continue to do so. If you are... Okay, he spelled the wrong you're. If you're not happy, then leave. He does continue with another comment, but yes. Essentially, I agree with this comment, even without the E and apostrophe on your. Anyway, I thought this was amusing. I do want to know what you think about the fact that some are already starting these, so please do let me know in the comments down below.